So I'm at my house right now, and I'm about to set the fire to my furnace. It's not expected to be cold tonight, but I solely heat my house with the wood behind me and the other huge pile of wood I got outside. So I wanted to touch base on something, because you've seen me in the past videos struggle with my cheap ferro rod that I have, that I'm going to be replacing soon. The reason I don't like that ferro rod is the fact that it's just too short. You know, I got big hands, and for a guy my, I'm 6 feet, and like you see, I'm a bit bulky. So the best thing for a guy my size would be at least 5-inch long. So that would bring it to about here, because this is barely 3-inch, maybe 3.5 inches, and that's 5/16 about of an inch. So the one I really want to order is a 1/2 inch thick, so it's a big fat one, and it's 5 inches. And the way these things work the most effectively is as you're going down with your sharpening tool, like a knife, you're actually scraping off this stuff, and it's spread, and that's what ignites, and it really burns hot. And this is that's my dog, by the way. My wife's gone outside, and he's very dependent of her. So this is the Moore knife companion knife. So this knife is made by a company called Moore Knife, and it's a very basic knife. And the big problem with these knives is they're dull on the very dull, but at the same time, you know, it's rounded kind of. So that's really bad with this. That's not going to generate nothing. See? So what I have to do is I have to sharpen at a 90-degree angle to make it very flat, to get something more like this knife. You know, this knife is much more sharp, so if I scrape, I'm going to get something. I don't want to do it here because I'm going to set fire there, but I'll film with my other camera so you can see what I mean. What I'm doing right now is I'll show you in slow motion, because I'll slow this around, and look at what happens. I hope I got that. Anywho, so this knife is really not the knife to play with a small teeny thing like that, but this, like I told you, this is my bottoning knife, and you know, and it's also the thickness of the blades. I don't know if you can see this compared to this thing. You know, like this is almost, you know, 1/4 inch thick, and it's a really tough knife. And this is a cheap little knife. It's the cheapest knife I own, and I could most probably break that in no time. But a knife like this, like you see, I've abused this a bit, and I think I've sharpened it only once since I've had it, and the edge on it is really good. It's due for a little sharpening there, but you know, like what I passed this knife through is very abusive. You know, this is not abusive compared to what I usually make it live, but I can bring it through a log. This size of a log, I could cut it with this thing, you know. And like you see, that's wood I just brought in, so it's still wet. so anywho, I just wanted to explain why I was having such a hard time with my rod and this cheap knife. I've sharpened already one edge, but what I'll do is I'll file that down to a perfect 90 degree. Most probably do it on a grinder or something to make it really flat. Because this is a handy little knife to have on my belt. It's very small, very light, and it's good to cut rope and stuff like that, you know. It's less bulky than this huge K-bar, but this is a full tang, you know. It's a really sturdy knife. You can't even, you know, the tip of that knife is really strong. This is carbon steel. This is just plain stainless steel, so it doesn't keep its edge very well. This knife, on the contrary, I just can't take the edge off of it. I could most probably cut some stone with it, and it's ridiculous. So that's it. I just wanted to make a quick video to explain why I was having issues with this rod. Like I said, this rod is a bit on the small side for my huge hands, and I'm gonna fix that pretty soon. I put it on my the rod I want to get. The problem is I put it on my wish list for Amazon, and lately I've been buying everything on my wish list because I'm a real prime whore, and my wife has been giving me shit about that because she wanted to choose on that list for my Christmas gifts. So I told her I'm going to stop buying stuff on my list, and the replacement of this is on my list. So I just hope that's going to happen, else I'm going to have to stick with that through right after Christmas. It's not, you know, it's just cheap, and it barely holds, you know, like, that's not normal to come out so easily from the socket like that. But anywho, let's make fire. See, this is pretty dry. Let's give the Moore knife a last shot. So your first log, usually you want it dry. So usually what I do is I'll take a log and expose it a bit more, and I'll just take my huge axe and just grab it one shot only. Oh, there we go. Just broke a camera most probably. So what I just did is I exposed the inner wood, which is really dry. I leave the door a bit open like that, because what that does is it creates a suction, because inside this oven on the top there's like a false ceiling, so to get to the chimney it has to come back by the front and go up, so it creates like a natural suction in there, I guess. That's really effective. And the other thing I like of this K-bar is the sheet. It's pretty durable, and what's fun, it's double secured. So I usually turn one clip on one side like this, and then I put the other clip on the other side like this. So they're like reversed. So if ever I would walk and I would unclip one, the other one is still clipped. So the chances of both getting declipped are pretty slim. Yeah. I don't remember what's the K-bar or whatever. I don't remember the name of this, but I bought that like 6 years ago or something. No, more than that. Right. So that's well established. And we'll let it burn. Remember I said that I lost, in a description of my previous video, I said that I lost my knife, not my knife, I lost my GPS in the woods. And it was pretty ironic to lose a GPS that is supposed to help you find your way around. So most probably what happened is I look back at all my footage, and looking back at all my footage, I see at one point that I marked the location of where I am, and then I insert the GPS in my side pocket, but there isn't any clip or anything on that pocket. And then I say, let me cut some wood, and I pause the video, and what happened there is I go for a half an hour of chopping down trees and using my saw and so on. So when I think is my elbow most probably hit my GPS, and it flew into the snow. And I didn't realize before I got here in the evening that my GPS was missing. And I actually went back there with a flashlight and everything, and I looked around, very rough, but it was very dark. So I gave up, and like I told you, there was a lot of rain announced, and today it poured like 3 centimeters of rain during the whole day. So there's no more snow whatsoever outside, but in the bush where I was, there's a little bit of covering, so there might be a bit of snow left, but it's going to be very minimal. So tomorrow, if it's not tomorrow, it's going to be Thursday, but we're Tuesday right now, and I plan on going back. I'm going to take some time off from work, and I'm going to trace back my exactly where my little setup is being built, and I'm going to look all around the perimeter of where I cut some wood, and I really hope to find my GPS, because it's an old GPS, but I had just purchased maps for that thing, and if I have to buy a new GPS, I'm not sure if I'll be able to transfer the ownership of my maps to my new GPS. So that would be like throwing $160 out of the window. And the GPS is still the GPS Maps 60 CSX is one of the best handheld GPS I've ever seen, because it's really precise and very sensitive, and once it's really calibrated, it's really dead on. So it's a really good GPS, and today you can't get a good GPS like that for under $500 almost. So I don't feel like dropping $500 for something I already own. So I hope I find my GPS, but I'll most probably make a video to show you how simple accidents do happen. So that's it, man. We lit a fire in my basement. This thing is heating up slowly, and that's it. So I'm babbling again. I'm doing the blah blah blah, like one of my favorite guys, Survival Russia. He always says that I'm doing the blah 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 thing, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing blah blah blah. So have a great evening, night, or morning, whatever, when you're watching this. And that's it. Please subscribe, please share, please like, and please come back. You still here? Go. Bye.